Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Hidden Heights Farm. My name is Kevin, and we're out here in the shop. And I'm gonna have to get used to this camera. I'm actually using an iPhone to make this video. Our main camera is having some problems with the audio and the mic and all that stuff, so I ordered a new one. So until then, bear with me. I'll be filming on this iPhone. Hopefully, we won't have any audio problems. You guys know if you watch the last few videos, we had some audio difficulties, and we apologize for that. But in today's video, in one of the last videos, we talked about fall cleanup. You know, I kind of talked about spring cleanup. We like to kind of do some fall cleanup too. When you have a farm, that kind of goes hand in hand with clean out your barns and getting straw ready for bedding for wintertime and stuff like that. But another important aspect of fall and wintertime is conditioning your equipment, either winterizing your equipment if you guys got RVs or boats or stuff like that. In today's case, I'm going to show you guys a new welder I got. It's a new used welder. If you guys remember the day that I told you Dutch and I went to that auction, I came home with that wood chipper. Well, I actually bid on this generator back here. I'll show you guys a little bit closer in just a second. But I want to talk to you guys and show you some of the things that I do to prepare some of our equipment and tools going into this cool fall winter weather. Now, an instance for this welder here, it's actually a generator as well. This will be another generator we're going to add to our arsenal. We have multiple generators, and here in Northeast Oklahoma, you never know what kind of weather you're going to get. I'm out here in a t-shirt right now, but tonight it could get really cold, you know, like in the high 30s, low 40s, something like that. And we get the additional ice storms rolling in, and you know, being in Oklahoma, a lot of people aren't prepared for that, but we have multiple backups. You can say I got a little bit of solar, I got propane, and then we got generators, gasoline generators. We got one generator that runs off propane. But I want to show you guys what we do to preserve the fuel in some of this stuff. We'll talk about the lawnmower. I got the bad boy lawnmower over here. We're going to pull it out in a little bit. I think I finally mowed for the last time this year, this last weekend. And how abnormal it is to be mowing right here. It's almost November. We're just, a few days from November, getting really close, a week away. I do not ever recall ever even mowing in October at all. But it's one of those years where you just don't know what the weather's going to do. We did kind of break the drought, and we got some rain, but we're still getting some pretty high temperatures. Not hot, but it's really nice, but we haven't had a frost yet. So for all you late gardeners out there, that's good news for you guys. Our garden's pretty much a jungle now. But enough rambling. Let me get this welder pulled up here, and I'll kind of give you guys a little tour of it. Okay, so when I brought this thing home, I had to use the tractor to unload it and move it around in the shop. I put this chain on here, it has a hook on it already. This thing did not have any wheels or anything on it. Since then, I have built a little frame underneath it and put some 4-inch casters with brakes on it. That way I can wheel it around the shop. I can move it around anywhere I want. If I want to load it on a trailer or anything, then I can use the tractor, get it on the trailer, move it around, you know. Anyways, here we go. So what we got here, guys, is a Ranger 8, a Lincoln welder. It is a generator as well. It has electric start on it. This is a pretty heavy duty welder, and this is going to be something we're not going to use all the time, but we will have it when we need to weld and stuff like that. There's those casters, those bright orange wheels on there, and this thing is electric start. Like I said, it's got the Kohler engine on it, and it's got a battery in it for the electric start. So this is a 4-stroke engine. You don't mix the oil with the gas or anything like that. But if you guys know anything about gas, then it can be a problem. So as I always mention here on the channel, anything with a small engine like this or the lawnmower, any of our equipment like the wood chipper, the Polaris Ranger, anything like that, we always run non-ethanol, just pure gas, 100% gas in it. And that cuts down a lot of problems. You don't get the gumming in your carburetors. You don't get the collapsed lines. You know, that ethanol will eat your rubber hoses and stuff like that, your fuel lines. Well, you know, that's good. You can use pure gas and everything, but that doesn't solve the problem. If you have wood chippers and things that you might only use once every 2 years, or your lawnmower sets for 6 months during the winter, well, sometimes that gas will get old and it can kind of deteriorate and clog up your carburetors. You know, it gets all gummy and gunky, and then when you go to use it for the next season in spring or whatever, some of that gunk will actually get into the jets in your carburetor, plug it up, and then it don't run right. Well, this is a go-to for us here on the farm. We've been using this. I remember my dad using this for as long as I can remember, especially like in our outboard motors on our boats. We'll put this in the fuel, which we only run the pure gas in as well. Because, you know, if you're fishing and you get done for the end of the year, you don't just want to waste, you know, if you got 12 gallons of gas in there, what you do is put some of the Stabil in here, and it is supposed to keep gas as fresh as it is right now, right out of the pump, for up to 12 months. And I firmly believe in it, because since we've been using this, we hardly have any problems with any kind of fuel-related issues. So what we're going to do today is, I'm going to show you guys this welder. I told you I bought it at an auction, so we don't really know much about it. It had a little bit of gas on it. The gauge is showing it is on empty. So what we're going to do is we are going to add some fresh fuel to it and then add some Stabil. We're not going to fill it all the way up with fuel because, like I said, this thing is going to be used as needed. I'm not a professional welder. If we got to weld something on the farm, fix tractors, fix corner posts, stuff like that, then this thing will be brought out to be used. So there's no guarantee we're even going to burn 2 gallons of gas in a year. But as long as I got this Stabil in there, I'll know that that thing should start right up. And since I bought this at an auction, I'm going to go ahead and change out the fuel filters. I went ahead and bought some new fuel filters here on Amazon. These are just 1/4-inch hose fuel filters. And like I said, these are directional. So if you guys go to do this, make sure the arrow is going the proper way with the fuel flow. So we're going to change the fuel filter out. We're not going to drain the fuel, but we'll drain some of it that's in the line right now. And then we'll put the Stabil in the fuel tank, add some fresh fuel, like a gallon or 2. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run this welder until it gets all that old fuel out of the hose, out of the carburetor, and gets the fuel with the Stabil in it. And that way we can store it over winter. All right, guys, we've got our new fuel filter on there. I'm going to show you guys the old one. This is the old one right here, and I do not like these kind right here because you can't really see if there's trash or anything in there. And as you see on here, it does say in and out. But in this case, this hose is coming from the fuel line, or the fuel tank, and it's going this way up to the carburetor. So right here is the arrow pointing the way of the fuel flow. So normally, if I buy equipment like this, like you guys seen with the wood chipper, I would drain the old fuel out because you don't know the history of that machine or the fuel or how long it's been in there. Does it have contaminants in it? Did they mix with diesel? Does it have water? You just don't know. In this case, on this generator, it is on empty. See if I can show you guys the fuel gauge. Kind of hard to see, but there's a red line right there that shows it's on empty. And I can kind of shake it around, and here, there's not much fuel in it. So I'm not too worried about that. So that's why we're going to go ahead and just put some fresh fuel in it, put the Stabil in it, mix it around, and let it run until we can tell that Stabil is up in the carburetor. And one thing I'm wondering, so I did go with these clear fuel filters. You guys just seen the little frosted one that it had on there, the old one. I don't like those because you can't see the debris, or if the fuel looks weird in there, you can't see. Well, with these here, I got these on Amazon. I think I got a 2-pack for like $6 or something. If I can remember, I'll share a link down in the description. These are a pretty good brand. These are Ape Racing brand. Just a little clear filter, but what this allows you to do is to see when you get a lot of trash in there, if you do. And what I'm curious and what we're gonna try out today is we're gonna put the Stabil in that fuel, and then we're gonna run this thing. And I'm curious to see if I can tell when the fuel gets into, when the Stabil gets into the fuel filter, because this is red. I'm not really sure if it turns your gasoline red or not, but we're fixing to find out. So let me grab a gas can, fill this thing up with a couple gallons of gas, add our Stabil, and then we'll try to get it running and run that old gas out until we can see that this red Stabil is in the new filter. All right, this Stabil says 1 ounce treats 2.5 gallons. So I put about 2 to maybe 2.5 gallons in there. And the Stabil, if you buy one of these size containers right here, they actually have a measurement right here. That is 1 ounce. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add, I don't know how much fuel is in there. Now it's showing it's almost up to half a tank. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 3 ounces. 1. Because if you add a little bit too much, it's not going to hurt anything. All right. All right, so we got this thing pushed out here to where the exhaust is outdoors. I'm not gonna stay in this shop anyways, but we do have a bunch of chickens that are pretty curious. We don't want none of these guys getting in there, or little Skeeter. Where'd you go, Skeet? We don't want him getting in there and breathing any of that bad stuff, poison. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this thing fired up and see if we can tell when that Stabil gets in this filter, and then let it run a while. That way we know that we got some Stabil all throughout the fuel tank, the fuel line, all the way up to the fuel system, the carburetor. That way we can store it and know that it will start up when we're ready to use it next. Okay, so the generator welder is still running. It's been running for about 17 minutes as of now, and I do not see anything red coming up in that clear fuel filter. So I got a bucket of feed and some feed for Leesky and some eggs. We're gonna go feed our animals real quick. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It is very windy, and like I said, I'm using this phone to record on. I normally don't do that. So I'm gonna bring you guys with me. We're gonna go feed, and then we'll go back and check and see if any of that red Stabil is in that fuel filter yet, and then we'll pull out the lawnmower and then treat it. Well, you know, Leesky, come here. Look at this boy. Look at this big boy. What do you know? Huh? You good boy. You ready to eat? He loves eggs. So let me get him fed and we'll go see the pigs. For your eggs. One. There you go. Your next goat. That ain't goat food. Goofball, get out of there. Whiskey loves his eggs. Hey, let's show him your eggs. Eggs give dogs really shiny coats, and they're good for them. It gives them protein. I don't even know what else. All right, goats, your turn. Come on, goats. All right, just 3 goats. I don't get too much. Go eat your eggs, buddy. I gotta go feed the pigs. Y'all ready for dinner? Piggy. So they need a little bit more room, but they got the automatic feeder. We're waiting a few more days, and then we're going to start them on the corn. Full corn, right? But they are finishing out real nice. They are going to butcher awesome. They're going to fill 5 other people's freezers, and then one of them will be ours to butcher. And freeze, yeah, they will be frozen until I learn to make those hams, the aged cured hams. Can't wait to learn that. You know, pig. You a good boy? Huh? You been a good boy? You better go eat your eggs and your food before them goats eat it. You know that? All right. I'm coming. I'm coming. Hey, that ain't yours. Hey, that ain't yours. Good boy. Eat your food. Alright, I'm going to let that carbon monoxide kind of clear out of the shop before I go in there, even though I had it at the front with the door open. I don't want to get no poison or nothing. Anyways, I showed you guys it did not show up red in the fuel filter, so I guess it don't matter if you use clear or not. I know it did not have just a couple of gallons of gas in there, and I put a little bit extra of the Stabil, and it still did not show up red. So I don't know if that dye just kind of weakens or whatever once it's mixed in with gas or what. But anyways, I do know it's ran long enough. It's ran for like 25 minutes now. It's ran long enough. It had to get some of that Stabil up in the system. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, why aren't you just draining the carburetor and putting a valve on there, a shutoff valve, so the fuel can't get to the carburetor? That way you don't have to worry about it gumming up and stuff. Well, on this welder right here, this is going to be a backup generator too. I want it to be ready to go whenever I need it, and that's usually on these ice storms and stuff that we get. It could be in the middle of the night. Rachel could be home by herself for whatever reason and need to come out here and get it, and I don't want to have to mess with the fuel getting up in the carburetor and all that. It's always just another story. I just want to store this with the Stabil in it, leave it in the carburetor or fuel in the carburetor, so it's just ready to turn on, push a button, and it'll start. Now the bad boy lawnmower, that's a different story, so let's get it out now. All right, guys, like I said, I am done mowing for this year. We should have a frost within, a week or two, hopefully. And then the grass, you can see it's really green right now. It should go away pretty quick. Now, I did add something extra on here. I added a shutoff valve because I wanted to be able to isolate the fuel from the carburetor at certain times. And you can see here, I got the same type of clear filter on there, so you can see there's no debris in there. I do need to put some Stabil in here, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and add some to the tank and let this thing run a little bit. And then what we're gonna do is we are going to shut this valve off while this is running. That way the carburetor and the whole fuel system beyond this valve right here will be dry, and we're gonna store it that way. Okay, so a lot of these zero-turn mowers have dual fuel tanks. That whole back thing's a fuel tank on that side. This one is a fuel tank on this side. So you want to make sure you use a Stabil or whatever kind of fuel stabilizer you choose in both tanks. And that way it'll get mixed into both tanks and all throughout your fuel system, because what this does is it uses gravity to kind of equalize. So however much fuel is in this side right here, like if it's 3/4 of the way full, this one's going to be the same. So I'm going to turn this thing on, let it run for a little bit, get that Stabil in the fuel system, and then I'm going to shut it off and let it run out of fuel. All right, it's out of fuel, so make sure it's parked where you want to store it for winter, and then turn the valve off, let it run out, and then make sure you turn the key off, and you're good to go all winter long. So there you go. That is how we store our equipment and our fuel here on the farm. Now the only other thing I need to do is treat all the tractors with, diesel tractors with the anti-gel solution, and that'll be another video. I'll kind of show you guys how we do that. Just like last year, we had the super cold weathers in the negatives here, and normally we don't even really treat our diesel vehicles or our tractors until that that weather is actually coming, because a lot of times it don't get that cold to where our diesel actually gels up. But last year, luckily I caught it, and I had some in the shop, and I was able to treat all the tractors and my diesel truck. So we didn't have any problems with that, thankfully. Hopefully this year it doesn't get that cold again, but you never know, so you got to prepare for it. So actually last year, whenever that cold spell came down through Oklahoma and even Texas, everyone was out of power for a long time. Natural gas shot up, the price was just crazy, and then guess what? People couldn't find. You couldn't go to the store anywhere and find the diesel treatment anywhere on the shelves. It's just something down here in the South that doesn't happen that much. In Texas, I don't think they even could find the anti-gel solution for diesel fuel. So people were like stranded, because a lot of people in Texas drive diesel trucks. Oil field workers, welders, all that type of stuff, drive the big trucks with the flatbeds and all that are mostly diesel. Well, they ran into a big problem because down south it never freezes, so they couldn't find the stuff on the shelves. Even here in Oklahoma, they had very limited. Luckily, I had some from the previous year, and I just kept it on the shelf. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I know a lot of people are going to say, I don't know why you run your carburetors dry. I don't know why you leave fuel in your carburetors over the winter. And like I said on the Welder generator, that is a backup generator as well. So I don't want to keep it dry. I want to leave fuel in there, because I might pull it out tomorrow and need to power the house or go weld something. So I don't want to have to mess with that every time and then drain it again. So I'm just going to leave it in there. And the key to that stuff is come out once a month, once every 2 months, start it up, let it run, let it get some fresh fuel from the tank up in the carburetor, get that, the older gas out of the carburetor burned up, and you should be good to go. And then like on the bad boy lawnmower, I turned the valve off, let it run dry, so now that carburetor should be dry. And then in the springtime, I'll turn the valve on, go to start it up, and hopefully it'll fire right up and be good to go. And I know it can cause some controversy. I know some of you guys are one-way minded. Just keep an open mind, and everybody does things different, so that's how we do it here. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks for the support. We love you guys. Leave us a comment. What do you guys do to prepare for winter? Do you prepare your vehicles, your equipment, your welders, generators, stuff like that, kind of similar to what I just did, or do you guys have a different concept? And I know it probably changes and varies from north to south, east to west maybe. I know you guys up in Canada and up in the northern states have a lot colder weather, so I don't really know what you guys do. So leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and we'll see you next time.